Hey guys, welcome back to the Fastest Lap podcast. We've been away for a little while. It's good to be back. We've had some things going on behind the scenes, things we're doing in our private lives, but yeah, we're all back to it. And what a way to come back then to explain on what happened at the Canadian Grand Prix.
Canada.
We love it there. The home of Latifi and Stroll, the two most outstanding people on the grid in terms of talent, pure talent and pace.
100%.
So, yeah, guys, we're just going to touch on essentially what happened over the course of the Canadian Grand Prix, dive into practice, qualifying and race, and then obviously we'll be stemming out and doing little segues if and when it comes to it. So, yeah, pretty much we'll
As we always do.
Yeah, we sideline everything. That's the main thing with us. We tend to have different conversations about plenty of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, practice. Obviously, we'll start there. Not much really happened in practice, I guess.
No.
We saw the touch on possibly being a wet qualifying when it was, what was it, FP3, which then eventually did happen. So we saw, actually, I don't know if you guys twigged on the F1 Twitter, there was Bottas and Joe walking into the pits, and they were just holding the umbrella, but the whole pit lane was essentially just flooded. Like, their cars going up and down. I was thinking, yeah, one of them should have just got the kit off. I'd have just got the kit off and just swam in it. Just gone like that. Up and down the pit lane.
I don't think it was deep enough.
I know.
Alonso had pace, I think, out of nowhere. He just...
Yes.
I don't know what he did. I don't know what he ate during the weekend, but he...
The rain.
Yeah.
Just does stuff to him.
The rain
he was
master.
like P3. Yeah, practice 1, he just went up to P3, like... And the Mercedes did quite well in P1, didn't they? 4 and 6.
Yeah, they didn't do
Not
too bad.
shabby.
I mean, despite Lewis saying that it is one of the worst cars he's ever driven and the car is unbearable, it was towards, well, it was in the, I guess, the paddock. I don't know if it was in the interview room leading up to where the podium is. But yeah, he was just saying, yeah, the car's undrivable, which for a man like him to be outspoken like that is quite drastic as well. We had previously, obviously we've missed a couple of Grand Prix, but Toto the other week saying that we're sorry, we've delivered you an absolute shitbox. I was like, damn, Toto, you're going in on essentially thousands of people that have built this car.
We said at the start of the year, didn't we, because of the regulation changes, that we thought it was just to do with that, but we've just seen it unfolding get worse and worse over all the races.
Yeah.
Did you see the video that Kravitz did explaining porpoising and he was on a skateboard?
Oh, I did see this.
And you see it under the skateboard. It's really bending, really going. It's awful.
Amazing.
The man is a national treasure. Like, the guy is, he just puts a smile on everybody's faces.
Yeah.
Even though he's such a knowledgeable man. But, yeah, also, with this thing that they were saying, they'd also... because of George complaining so much and Lewis turning into a paraplegic after the Baku Grand Prix, if I introduced this new rule or something like that, I kept overhearing, but essentially they were trying to distinguish whether the FIA was going to alter the ride height or set everybody's team at a set desired ride height.
Yeah.
But obviously Red Bull, they've got next to no porpoising. Ferrari have got quite a bad porpoising issue.
Yeah.
Same with
they're fine on the turns, just not on the straights.
Yeah. But it was weird to see essentially this rule implemented. I haven't seen whether this is actually, I don't know if it's been done or not. I'm not too sure.
I don't think it has. Yeah.
But the Merc definitely seemed a lot better this week out in terms of the race. But
yeah,
I think that's what it was. I seen that. I don't even know his name, but just call him that old man from Red Bull who's always mooning. Like,
Helmut Marko?
Legit, I don't care. I don't want to know his name. But he was moaning, saying that he thinks like Mercedes have had this ready or whatever because already they've got something that is in compliance with the FIA when they've just announced it, and the day later they had it ready when none of the other teams were able to meet the deadline or something. And I was like, shut up. Stop questioning Mercedes. Shut up. We're doing better. Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice to see where Mercedes have come on from. McLaren as well. McLaren, we're doing all right.
We're getting there.
We'll save that for the race.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know what happened during the race, but yeah, we're getting there. Alpine's, like you said, touched on earlier, very quick.
Alpine's
weird to see where the pace has come from for Alpine, though.
Yeah,
I know.
Over the space
I hadn't heard of any packages or any upgrades.
No.
So
I mean, we saw with Aston Martin pretty much carbon copying the Red Bull, and they're still shit. So it was kind of
I feel sorry for Vettel because you'll do fairly well in practice, and then it comes to quali, and then every time he gets knocked out, he's like, "What?" He's so shocked. He's like, "What the hell happened?" Like, no way. And it's like, oh, sorry, mate, but you're out. Blame your team.
We also saw poor Latifi hit a groundhog. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Go check out on Twitter. There's a little clip where Latifi hits a groundhog, and the poor thing. They're endangered. Not endangered. They're protected at that circuit, so they can't do anything. They can't do anything with them. They're literally that's just there. I didn't realize it as well. Getting onto the circuit, the only way to get onto that circuit from the paddock is over this bridge that goes over the river.
Oh.
So it's. I mean, that freaked me out.
Of all people, though.
For Latifi to hit a groundhog.
What a homecoming.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Oh, bless him. You just can't have a good day ever, can he?
No. I guess it doesn't help with there's rumors going around that Piastri's gonna take his place for Silverstone. Have you seen about that one? Yeah.
Ooh.
Which, I mean, if you're coming last in basically every single race, surely you get to a point where, or your team get to a point where you're like, okay, maybe we need to change things up and see how it goes.
I think it's a sense as well, he brings in a good amount of sponsorship money.
Yeah.
But we touched on this a few weeks ago. It was kind of like, do you really swap out the sponsorship money for the talent prospect? But it's just like, I don't know. You bid it into the wall week in, week out.
Definitely.
Stroll just bidding it week in, week out. Latifi bidding it week in, week out. You're like, you're costing the team millions. This cost cap thing. Apparently, I was listening to this. I'll touch on this. I was listening to this. Christian Horner was getting interviewed by Martin Brundle, and I can't forget what the other guy is. Bearing in mind, I don't really like listening to Christian Horner speak too much anyway. But it was quite knowledgeable in the fact that he said that the team that is in 6th place gets 80% of their salary cap funded by sponsorships. So 80% of that salary cap that is paid out to the team, sponsorships are covering that anyway. So there's not really much not much ingress from the team costing themselves that much anyway, because all the sponsorships just cover it. Yeah. But he's worried about the fact that all the teams are essentially going to go off over this cost cap, and not even by a minimum amount. It's going to be by quite a large margin. Williams already have.
Yeah, Williams already have. They did. It was either last week or the week before. They've already gone over and they've been fined for it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And we're not even halfway through the season.
See, this is going to be...
They've not really thought too much, have they, when you've got, the number at, the max amount. They've not really thought about it, have they?
No.
In our thoughts, people may, people may have engine problems. People may have idiots.
Touching on that,
it'll work if they hire the cost cap, but it'll have to be by law.
Yeah. Because we got the point of it is to obviously try and even out the field, but it's just ineffective still for the lower teams already. Yeah. I'm surprised Haas haven't gone over it yet, because they've had quite a few bad accidents at the minute.
How far do you take it, though? Do you start essentially then deducting points off of teams, or would you say the fines would just get larger and larger and larger? But in that sense, you're just paying more money for a managerial penalty. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. I think the points would make more sense because it needs to actually affect the team, because the money, like the people that own these teams, are ridiculously rich anyway. So for them paying that out, it's probably like nothing.
Yeah, true.
Whereas if the actual team and the points have consequences, like
yeah. I mean, if 80% is covered by the sponsors anyway, like they don't really mind, do they?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, obviously, I just touched on Leclerc suffering an engine penalty and going to be starting from the back. Poor guy can't catch a break. We've seen a 90-point swing in 6 races, which is just crazy. I mean, Ferrari strategists just being clowns yet again.
Yeah.
Just remembering that they're Ferrari.
It seems to be bouncing back and forth. Like Ferrari will have a bad week, and Red Bull will have one, or they'll both have a bad week, and it just goes back and forth. Like they're just sharing the championship. Like, oh, here you have it for a few weeks, and then Max is like, oh, I'll take it back for a bit.
But yeah, other than that, I guess, guys, there wasn't that much I would say that was to talk about in practice. We saw obviously a couple of spin-offs and everything like that, and then we obviously got introduced to the wet weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll dip into qualifying now. Who would you say was your standout person in qualifying, guys? Who made the most impact, do you think?
We've got to say Bestie Mick. How can we not?
Yeah?
No, I'm going
so
Joe.
Well.
Joe
did incredibly well, considering he had issues with his car the last couple of races. But Mick, like Kevin and Mick, they pulled out a stonker.
I don't know where their house got the pace from. We also saw, obviously Joe. Did you guys listen to Joe's radio message after the? Yeah, I know. I had my heart in my hands for him. I was like, Q3 boy, get in there.
I think we're all big fans of Joe, like, and seeing what he can do.
You always want to see rookies do well, don't you? You always want to see rookies do well.
Yeah, you can hear the passion out of like him and Mick. To be fair, even in the race, he was like, "Want more every 5 seconds," and they're like, hold on, Joe, like just calm down. No, I can overtake something like these. I can get further, and it's like, oh, because he must be made up to be in the car for once. Like, usually you drive around for a little bit and then ask to retire.
What else we got? We got obviously Alonso. Yeah, the Alpines.
The Alpines just
Alonso P2. My man.
That was
Rainmaster.
Good.
You see his lap. The onboard lap was nuts.
He's incredible. Like
the wily old fox has still got to hit him.
Yeah.
But yeah, my man.
Nuts.
Russell on dry tyres. What do you think about that strategic decision, guys?
It didn't pay off for him, did it, though, in the end?
Nah.
Like, it didn't benefit him. I think someone was going to take the gamble. Like, it was going to end up being Russell. I don't think they would have wanted Lewis to do that. It didn't work out. But then again, because they'd use wets for the majority of the weekend anyway, they would have had plenty of dries for the day of the race. But it was a waste.
Yeah, it was just clearly still soaking wet. It wasn't like I think Lewis said like a tiny turn was a bit dry, and that meant that they did a mad one. Like, because if you think about it now, if he would have actually been on wet, he would have probably got higher, and he may have ended up in like with a podium place. But it was just weird because odd. But it's nice that it's him who's taking the gamble for once, because I'm fed up with them making Lewis do it. Like, he's old in terms of like Formula One. You can't have him keep like doing these gambles when like half his back is broken. Like, you say a pure cripple, and yet George is just like sprightly young. It's not affecting the young people in terms of porpoising, so why not let like Russell try it every now and again and like mix it up? But you just keep forcing it on Lewis. So
because they keep going out with different setups for both of them, don't they? They're just doing a million different things with this car, trying to figure out what type of route to go down, so to speak, whether to increase the ride height, whether not to increase the ride height, so on and so forth. But yeah, like you said, I guess Lewis has been taking the exploratory role.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just yeah, I agree. It was nice to see Mercedes try something different. I think personally, if it had paid off, it'd have paid off massively. But
yeah,
like we said, we saw Russell obviously go off the track in turn 2. But yeah, no grip, no nothing. And it was kind of like, oh, do they really risk it?
Especially seeing as we saw before, like in Spa, what he did in the Williams on the wet tires. So for them to sort of do that gamble didn't really make sense, because this car could effectively be worse than the Williams in terms of like the thing from last time. So they could have just kept him on wets, and again, like Connor said, he would have been a whole lot higher.
Yeah. What did you, Mel? What did you think about Norris? Bless him.
Man just needs to catch a break. It's so stressful. Like, I just can't.
Yeah. Norris,
next race.
Yeah. Norris out in Q2.
I got a good feeling. Yeah, it was just so weird seeing like even like Perez being so far down because he binned it. Like,
oh yeah, I've totally forgot about that. Perez binned it into the wall in Q2, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He naffed his front wing. He binned it. Yeah.
Select reverse or something like that. They couldn't get out, and then they red flagged it. In the end,
to be fair, when I heard the radio instructions on how to do it, my head was scrambled. I was like, "What the hell?" Like press back 3 times, like double tap this.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
yeah, it's like a cheat code for a game. I'm like, we're not playing F1 2022. Like, what is this?
Someone's playing GTA San Andreas, jetpack, just up, down, left, right, circle, X, circle, X, R2.
Yeah.
You definitely just button bashed and then hoped it worked, and then went, it's not working. And you could see it blatantly said he's still in neutral on the screen. And you went, it's not working. I've had enough.
If you got to go through all them hoops and steps, like why don't they just have obviously you wouldn't like to engage.
It's not that simple.
I know you wouldn't like to engage reverse or something like that when you come in, like accidentally push a button or something like that. But
like your magic brake button.
Yeah, well, yeah. Flashback to Paul the rest of the screaming, "Oh!" and Lewis Hamilton locks up a Baku.
It's some of the worst commentary I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. All right. We'll touch on Paul the rest real quick. I as a commentator, I'm sure he's a lovely person, but as a commentator, there's just so much of his knowledge and the way he talks and the way he acts or addresses some things where he'll cut off Crofty or like he'll interrupt and then he'll try and say something interjecting into what Crofty's saying, and Crofty's like, yeah, okay, thanks, Paul. And it doesn't flow. You know what I mean? Like Brundle and Crofty, they flow. The commentary just rolls off the tongue. It's good, but it's hard to listen to Paul the Resta sometimes. I'm sure he's a very knowledgeable man. I'm sure he's very lovely. Keep it quite PG. Obviously, I don't want to slander the guy, but it's there's only so much you can take of him, to be fair. It's a bit like Nico. There's only so much you can take of Nico without being like, I just want to rip my ears off and fucking head.
Because you know when Nico's on the schedule, that it's just going to be, back when you and Lewis raced. Like, we've moved on to such a different era that just leave it. We don't care. Like, we want to know what's now.
It's because he also, I don't know, after the race, you guys saw, he posted saying Lewis does not, or makes it a mission to not become second to his teammate, and it's just Nico just pushing so much shit about him and himself, like him and Lewis. I'm just thinking like, dude, like, come on, you're trying to stay relevant or some shit, dude. Like, come on.
Probably.
Like the statement is obviously true of every driver. So it's like, shut up, you tit.
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't want to come second.
Every driver wants to do better than their teammate, but at the end of the day, sometimes you do have to just play for the team rather than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and Perez couldn't do that this week. He decided to go on a hike instead.
Suddenly he wanted to explore the groundhogs for himself, see what the wildlife was actually like.
Yeah, before Latifi bins them all off, apparently.
What else we got? That essentially, yeah, we obviously saw Max P1, Alonso P2, Sainz P3, Hamilton, Magnussen. I don't know what I'd put there. I don't know what the Schumacher is. It Schumacher? Yeah. Schumacher,
yeah, they shared a thing together. They locked out a row.
Yeah. Then Russell, Danny Rick, and Joe rounds up that top 10 for qualifying. So, racing. We're gonna get into it. Okay.
Start.
Okay, so the race starts. Go around the first corner, everything's all looking good. Go around the second corner, everything's looking a little bit fine until you see Hamilton get a little bit close to Magnussen.
Yeah.
Bump him. And there goes Magnussen's wing.
And he gets his revenge.
Oh yeah, because they had that other collision. Oh golly!
Crazy the thing they brought him in for. I forget what the flag is. Black and orange.
Black and orange for damage. That was like, can we take
who was it?
Sonoda's back wing the other week. They're like,
gaffer tape.
Oh yeah.
They go, yeah, chuck a bit of gaffer tape on it and it will be fine. I was like, what?
It's just the way, like, I don't know who said it, who's commentating, who goes, I don't think that's legal.
Yeah, I thought that wouldn't be allowed. Like, I just thought that the FIA would be like,
So, funny fact, that tape that they use, right? Joe told me this. It's aerospace, well, essentially aircraft tape, which they use in aircrafts to block certain vents off in order to stop like things getting into certain areas, and then when they like take off. But that is absolutely fine what they did there, as long as obviously the wing didn't snap in half and just go everywhere.
Yeah.
But as long as it's taped down, it's fine.
That makes sense.
But yeah, that kind of Cheers, Joe, for that wonderful fact.
Yeah.
But they use proper gaff tape, not just duct tape you get out of like screw fixes. Let's just wrap it around.
Just like zoop, back out, and I was like,
and he was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. I don't think even commentary knew what they were using. Like that was weird.
I mean, to be honest, I'd be on a car. You're doing 200 miles an hour, and oh yeah, sorry, mate. We're just gonna stick some gaffer tape on the back wing.
I've seen it before where they've put a bit of like gaffer tape somewhere, but like gaffer tape in the wing. I was like, what?
You just went, don't use DRS. Go on, off you go.
Yeah.
Go on.
Don't use DRS. Just don't use it. You don't need it.
Because we saw it on Leclerc's car as well. I don't know if you saw, but on Leclerc's right side pod, there was a crack all down the thing. That was all taped up.
Yeah, seeing that they used the red tape so you couldn't really see it. Because I seen like someone post about it, and I was like, I didn't see it. And then when I look closer, it's like, smart.
Yeah.
So obviously, Leclerc starting from the back of the grid. We'll go on to him a little bit later.
And Yuki as well.
Yeah, Yuki as well.
Lap 8. Nothing really happened between the first opening laps. Obviously, people jostling for position. But lap 8, we see Perez losing the engine. And the Hamilton Verstappen going into the pits. Perez, we'll touch on Perez because we haven't really spoke about him. But the past few weeks, he won in Monaco, obviously. But the past few weeks, he's been, I would say, stimped out of this championship by Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull are willing enough, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on it. But personally, I would love to see a whole nother multi-21 incident or Baku with Danny Rick and McLaren, Max Verstappen just back it up. But I think now that they've gone through that, they don't really want to do a whole incident where they will let their drivers race. And I think we're going to see a whole lot more over this championship. The team orders coming into fruition. It's not going to be the championship that I want, where Perez is actually getting somewhat close to Max now. Yeah. Obviously not after this race, but it's getting into a point where Perez should, and I say this wholeheartedly, should be challenging for the championship, not being second best to his teammate, because obviously we touched on being second best to his teammate is not good, but How do you guys think about this? Do you want to see the Perez and Verstappen? I think all of us do, but it's just, is it in a case of, can you see both sides of the story? Can you see both sides of the argument? Like, what is the case?
I mean, we saw it last year. Like, he was a buffer. He's very, very good at defending, and he was always in second, defending for Max. And I think that's all they want in the championship too, is they want Leclerc to have to try and get past Perez and Max. So he's just I think they're just using him as a buffer, which just isn't fair. Because when he does well, he does really well. So I don't see why they shouldn't just let them race, especially because it's so early in the season. I would understand towards the end if it's getting a bit close, especially if it's between another team being like, okay, team orders, but it's so early that they should just let them race a bit because it's entertaining for us to watch.
Yeah.
Let them race.
In the failed podcast that me and Joe had, I said he's missed his opportunity to go Super Saiyan and just like annihilate everyone these past few weeks. Like, you had the one where he was made to let Verstappen past, and then like the following one he won, and then you had the same again where he had to let him past again, and it's like battle for once. Because you can, like, at that point you're at a point where you have to make a decision for yourself. I'm at this point where, actually, I'm very close to him in points, actually. No, I'm going to take this one for myself, or at least say to them, well, he's got to fight to get past me. Like, that's the only way I'm letting him past. If he puts up a little bit of, like, a fight, then I'll let him past easily, sort of thing. But just to continually, like, I don't know, it's dangerous but smart at the same time, because it's like he's so compliant. But as humans, it comes to a certain point where you just snap, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's the risk you run. But I think it'll be all right for them.
Yeah. I think.
Well, I say them, I mean Max. It'll be fine for Max.
Yeah, Horst Verstappen's going to be buzzing.
Yeah, I think if Perez has the pace, it's like in Monaco. There was no way for them to be able to let Max go through to be first. Because if they would have, let's be real, they would have done it.
Yeah.
And I think if Perez has got the pace, just let him be and let them race. You just have to reinforce to them, be reasonable and don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I see they both want to win, just play for the team.
Yeah. We've seen it before.
That's what,
That's what I who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Would.
It'd be great.
I mean, we saw it with obviously Nico and Lewis, teammates allowed to race. So obviously, we saw this as fans. Obviously, being at Mercedes, I saw that through my team. It's hard to grasp how last race Max goes through and the team says no fighting. Just straight away, no fighting. To me, in my head, I'm thinking the championship's already decided between them two.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, obviously, we saw it with Bottas and Lewis. Obviously, screaming Bottas, but I see a lot on Twitter, like everybody's been like, "Oh, it's a new Bottas. Perez is a new Bottas." I'm like,
it is. It's so unfortunate. Because I remember like watching clips and stuff, and Bottas was like, "Yeah, like I'm not gonna listen to team orders again." And then years on, like he was still doing it. It was like, was it last year he was gonna go for fastest lap, and they were like, "Please abandon your lap.
Please abort the fastest lap." It's like,
we're like,
Valtteri.
What?
James is Valtteri. Fuck you.
Yeah. James is Valtteri. Yeah. It's just, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, they want to obviously play for the team and stay in the good books, but if you know they're not going to be stupid about the driving, you should just let them race.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Perez is super talented. I think he's more talented than Bottas, which is why it's annoying. Well,
he's already the greatest Mexican driver to ever grace Formula One. So
yeah. The fact that he obviously did that one race in the Racing Point where he went from last on the grid to winning it in a midfield car, you can't even deny that he's not extremely talented. I think people forget that a lot too, because now they're just seeing him as like Red Bull's little like obedient pet, and he's just there to listen.
I was going to say Max's bitch, and
you
said it's so politically correct.
Yeah, he's definitely Max's bitch.
Max is sitting at the dinner table with Christian, and Checo's having to eat out a little bowl. Man's eating like turnips and dog food out of a little bowl, isn't he?
Then they're like laughing up there with bottles of champagne and everything like that.
Yeah.
Perez just down the bottom end, just like, yeah, Perez, have all the scraps, mate. There you are. Fucking have that, son. Jesus.
Bless him. Bless him.
Right, anyway, back to the race. Mick. We're all avid Mick fans. We all love to see Mick doing well. We want to see Mick doing well.
It was so sad.
But the poor guy has no luck. And on lap 20, the engine gives out.
And he swore. He never swears on the radio.
Nah. He
let out a little
so
beep.
Gutted. You would be though, but it's
yeah.
Your heart just goes out to the poor guy. Every time. The man's had no luck at all this whole championship. It will come.
There's been like 4 times. There's been like 4 times this season he could have got points, and it just never worked out.
First points in Formula 1, can't do it.
So annoying.
But
I'd be so sorry for him. It'll come soon. But as I said to you before the pod, clearly the Formula 1 gods were saying no, seeing as when we mentioned it, all my stuff flew off my shelf. Like,
oh yeah, explain this story to the viewers. Sorry, so before the pod started, Ono told us a little story, which I think you guys are going to be a little bit interested in.
So we had a failed podcast. Well, I did with Joe, and we started talking about Mick and how we love Mick, and like the Formula 1 gods hadn't been nice to him, and like Joe's like, the more we talk about it and manifest it, I think the more it won't happen. Next thing, boom, all the stuff off my shelf come flying off. Like the whole thing fell, and we were just like, oh Christ, what have we done?
We all had a bit of a crazy week. Before the start of the race, I was out for dinner for Father's Day, because it was Father's Day. And my dad and I, we were like, yeah, so we're going to go home in the car because the race is on in like 10 minutes. We need to be home. We get home and we realized my mom had the only set of keys to the house. And Harry was in Discord streaming it. And I was sat outside my house. I had my phone propped up and I was sat with Harry, and I was sat like this, watching it outside my house because I was locked out. I got in like just by the skin. But like,
I think you got in just as it started, no?
Yeah, just as it started. I was like, quick, 406, select. I didn't have time to make my snack tray. I had to wait until like after the first few laps.
Yeah, because we got virtual safety car in was it when Perez lost the engine, so we got a virtual safety car lap 8. Hamilton and Verstappen pitted, making it a 2-stop. So yeah, they both pit for hards. Making it essentially a 2-stop race, and then on lap 20, Mick lost his engine, so there was another safety car, virtual safety car as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was around about the time everybody had a break. Everybody gets up that time and like, yeah, I'm just gonna stretch my legs, just walk away from the TV for a little bit.
But you do that.
Yeah,
I'm like fully invested. I sit there like I don't even have to look at my snack tray. I'm like,
well, I got every time like I watch Formula 1, I either have live updates from like the podcast. So yeah, I have podcasts. Make sure everybody out there turn your podcast live notifications on.
We live tweet when we remember.
Hit that little bell because we post all the information.
We got good content coming soon.
Yeah. We're gonna heavily invest in like TikTok and stuff. Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
how we're gonna milk all of
that. 20 years down the line. Oh guys, remember that one time?
But yeah. Look through my my phone, and I have live timing sheets like just on it anyway. So anytime like anybody goes into the pits, you can get like F1 TV on your phone or whatever it is. Anytime someone goes to the pits or a safety car or anything like that, I just look at my phone and I can just like I don't know, go for a cigarette or something like that. And it will just tell me all anyway, and I can just hear the TV. Yeah. So it's just a chance just to get up and walk around. No one's, I doubt, unless you're Grosjean, that would crash under a safety car, or George Russell for that case. But yeah, nothing really happens, so it's kind of
Yeah, the safety cars are chill. You can be like, oh, just sit back, relax for a minute.
Yeah. Take the
see who you want
adrenaline
for
out.
driver of the day. Yeah.
Did you see
Did
on?
you see
Was it?
someone? I don't know who it was. I think it was the Pit Stop podcast. They tried to get everyone to vote Latifi for driver of the day.
Yes, I've seen it.
It didn't work. I don't think. I don't know who got it in the end, but I can't remember. But
that would have been amazing.
Latifi, driver of the day, for annihilating a groundhog.
What hero? But yeah, anyway, carrying on with the race. Nothing happened from Mick obviously losing the zone. We saw a couple of jostling positions. We see Gasly Leclerc working his way out from the back, and also Gasly. Stroll, actually, we'll touch on Stroll. We always hate on Stroll, but Stroll actually did well this race. Okay, I'm going to touch on it for a little bit, because bearing in mind the Aston Martin was quick in FP3, but slow in qualifying. They went out in Q1, so they started from essentially the back of the grid, as well as Leclerc. Stroll ended up, in the end, I think it was P10 with Alonso's pen at the end. Yeah, so ended up P10 in the race. Nice. So he worked his way from the back, and normally everybody hates on Stroll. He's dog shit, but it's just
ever since last year's Monaco, where they were like, it just panned to Stroll for no reason. And then everyone started making memes about you've been strolled, and since then, man's not caught a break.
He always seems to do well at his home Grand Prix, though.
Yeah, and to be fair, in the wet in general, Stroll's done well. Like, he also put it on pole once in the wet, so.
Yeah, what is that? Turkey. That's 2020, wasn't it?
Turkey. Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, touching on race directors and camera things on lap 44 when Hamilton pitted for his second time, and we saw for a brief moment, and I could get a little emotional here, but we saw Hamilton and Verstappen very close on the pit exit come towards each other. Hamilton just drifted out wide, but it just reminded me of last year and how incredible and how much I miss the 2021 season, because it brought back so many memories, you know. I'm just thinking, like, week in, week out, you were just so gassed at being the fact that, like, Hamilton Verstappen, but we haven't really got that this year, so it's kind of like, oh. It was nice to see every single. I guess everybody's F1 brain was just kind of like Hamilton and Verstappen getting close on the pits. It's like, oh my god, it's gonna happen again.
And having them on like the podium too, I think for a lot of people that was quite nostalgic, regardless of where they placed.
It was nice to see Lewis back on the podium after a little while as well. Yeah. The second time this season.
It was nice to see Verstappen lose his shit because Lewis was in front of him for like 0.5 seconds. He just lost his mind.
I bet it was just like,
on the radio. Why is he in front of me?
Yeah, because literally back straight, he just overtook him straight away anyway. So it's like, well, okay, fair enough.
I feel like because they're not direct competitors anymore, they've got a lot more banter between the two of them.
Yeah.
Because in the post race, they were sat in the room. And Lewis was talking about the porpoising going through cops, and then Max was sat there and he went like this.
Yeah, I think Lewis has a lot more respect for him now, Max being a world champion. I mean, at the end of the day,
definitely.
It was 5 months ago. Everybody out there that's listening, if you're still fucking genuinely butthurt over what happened last year, it was shit. Just get the fuck over it. It was 5 months ago. Like, stop fucking stop fucking hating on Max.
If Harry's over it, you've got to be over it.
Yeah, like, dude, like, if stop hating on Max, stop hating on Lewis. Yes, we know the fucking FIA fucked up, and we know that Michael Massey made an absolute shambolic mistake, but it was 5 months ago. Get over it. It's gonna be, otherwise it'll just be tainted in F1 history. We just have to get up, move on. We know that it was a shit show. Just don't worry about it, okay?
You see them reacting to like that that little moment in history or whatever. Max like comments on it and goes, "Oh, like because they got very close, didn't they?" And I think Max or Lewis goes, a bit close, that wasn't it? And then all of a sudden, like Sky Sports go, oh, we've lost the audio again. Oh,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's just about to get juicy. Then you cut the
yeah.
audio off. That's what happened.
So actually, fun fact about that as well. Ted, I don't know if you guys watched Ted's notebook at the end of the
I
race.
love Ted's notebook.
You should.
It's so dysfunctional. If
Yeah,
I could replace
nuts.
anyone to be my dad, Ted Kravitz.
Yeah, 100%.
No brainer.
Yeah.
He said
Sorry,
at
Dad.
the
You're
end.
replaced.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry.
So he said at the end of that, whenever they do these cooldown rooms, they've recently just brought it back. You never really had a cooldown room.
Yeah, it wasn't there at the
night.
start of the season. They
Yeah.
just kind of brought it in a few races in, didn't they?
Yeah. So what they do with that is they put it on so they record it, but then they play us back live the tape. So it's a recording of what they're actually doing, because I don't know if you saw the race last time, but it said no swearing in big bold letters in this thing, and obviously Max and Sainz started swearing to each other, just like saying like little things and bobs. But they tape it and then play that recording back to us. So whenever they play it back to us, they're actually not in there anymore. They're going up to the podium. So it's like you're just seeing footage that's a little bit old. You know what I mean? So that's why they then cut the audio off, and you're like, oh, it's getting good. But then you realise, oh yeah, they're just coming out on the podium. They're not actually in the room anymore. It's like, damn, you always cut it off when it gets to the good bit. Why are you doing it now? What else we got? Heading on into the further of the race. Sonoda. More rookies. Jesus.
It's so emotional, isn't it?
Please, Sonoda, don't turn into Latifi and Stroll. Please don't do it. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still surprised he can see out the car. Like, because I figured out that I'm a whole foot taller than him, and I just.
Have you seen the helmet cam, right? You've seen the different point of view where drivers look at. Sonoda's must be like.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah, no, literally, it's just mad. Like.
Oh, so
I don't know how he did it. It's impressive, to be honest.
It's either there must have been next to no grip or the marbles too much, but I mean every other car managed to get out the pit safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sonoda hits the wall. That was on lap 49, and then a safety car comes in, and then we see a whole lot of hits being made, Sainz being one of them, Max staying out, and this then sets us up for the last 10-ish laps of the race. Sainz and Verstappen. So Sainz, guys, pitch this question to you. Sainz hasn't won in Formula 1 yet, okay? Did you think at any point that Sainz was going to do it?
No.
Just straight away.
Nothing's predictable anymore. Everyone's got reliability issues and like.
Yeah.
It's like I took him out my fantasy team. He did well. I put him back in. He does absolutely awful. I'm just giving up at this point.
It was a sense that he would always get close to Max, then back off.
Yeah.
Then it was close to Max, then back off, then get close to Max, and it was just constantly for 10 laps. Like a 0.7 gap. There was no instance of him getting close. There was no instance.
But he tried. Like,
he did try. I can imagine it.
I'm gonna say he didn't try. I think he just was blagging that he was trying, because he must have thought, shit, if I if I wreck this car now and like end up with no points and Max still wins, like I'm in for an absolute slaughter in here.
The debrief is not going to be a pleasant one.
So I'll just like pretend that like I'm getting close when really I'm fine with second. But it's the heartbreak afterwards, like that made me think, oh, okay, he really was trying.
Yeah.
He was like being consoled by Lewis and that, and it's like, that just shocked me that he's never actually won. I don't know why I thought he had at least
he's
one.
He's come so close. He's had so many
he got
seconds.
Pipped by Ricciardo in, with Gasly and Monza.
Yeah.
He came close a couple of times at McLaren as well. It's just, still hasn't won. Still has not won, and he's in a top championship fighting car. So it's like, oh. I don't know. I felt kind of bad for him. You're that close to the championship. You're that close to the victory. You have DRS as well. It's just, I guess the Red Bull was too quick as well. You got to put that down to the fact that the Red Bull is so quick in a straight line that you can't really fault it.
Yeah, Max didn't seem panicked at all.
Nah.
At any point in those like 10-ish laps.
Nah. There's the case of that it was well driven from both of them. It provided us with a little bit of entertainment towards the end, but it was just for settling the grid, I would say. That we had that little fight for the end. But that was it. We got P1, Verstappen, obviously P2 Sainz, Hamilton on the fucking podium. Oh yeah, I'll just touch on my meme of the week. Okay, we'll do our meme of the week, meme of the race real quick. Meme of the race. So, meme of the race. I saw it, and it's literally, it just said Lewis Hamilton on the podium be like, and it's the meme of this guy that's like third on the podium with like a champagne bottle, and he sprays it all over himself, and he's like, yes, fucking go.
Yeah.
It was nice, it was nice to see Lewis back on the podium.
Brilliant.
Where he belongs. What are your guys' meme of the weeks? Did you have any shortlisted?
I just like the video of Latifi in the groundhog. It's not really a meme, but it is funny. Like, just splat.
Animal rights activists are just going to be like, what the fuck? You enjoyed some poor animal getting killed?
Yeah. You should get fined for that.
The reaction as well. And there's like,
oh no, I just hit a groundhog.
Oh no. Yeah. In his accent, it made it so much funnier. Yeah. R.I.P. Groundhog.
Yeah. Gary the Groundhog is no longer with us. We'll have a quick 10 seconds
for you.
Dedicated to Gary the Groundhog. Yeah. Hamilton, Russell fourth, Mercedes. Oh, Russell finishing with another top 5. Big up Mercedes. Leclerc P5. Done really well to come back to that from the back of the grid. Ocon P6. Alonso originally P7. I don't know if you guys realise this, but Alonso did get a 5-second penalty in the end for weaving on the straights.
As he always does.
Then, for some reason, which then promoted Bottas and Zhou up to 7th and 8th, respectively. So Zhou got even more points from the weekend. And Alfa Romeo both in the top 10.
Yeah.
One outstanding race for them. That's crazy. Alonso and then Stroll, P10. But we're not going to talk about McLaren because they had a bad day.
They did have a bad day.
They had a bad day, mate. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We've rounded everything up. Is there anything? Oh, there might be actually something that we want to touch on. We're not going to get too political with it, but recently we just had some news of a certain driver that is contracted to Red Bull, but has now been suspended over a certain incident on a gaming live stream. Mr. Juri Vips. Guys, what do you think about this situation? I want to get your opinions on it. Do you think this is the correct thing to do from Red Bull? Obviously, it's the correct thing to do.
Yeah. If they bring him back, I'll be very disappointed. Because whether it was streamed or not, it's just not something you should say. Yeah. Point blank. Because you don't know who's listening.
Yeah. Totally
it's just not right.
See, somewhat. I think it was the F1 Niger or whatever on Twitter, like posting Red Bull being like secretly made up the fact that now they can kick him out because they've got so many young drivers. They'll be buzzing at the fact that they don't have to actually make a decision between them. They can just like jib him off instead. They're like, oh,
well, they've got a reason just to suck him so I get in there.
But yeah, it's just a tit, isn't he? Like the world is at your feet. You're just been in practice, like in their car this season, and then I say then you go and do that, but clearly it's what he's done often. It's just that it happened to be accidentally recorded.
Streamed, yeah.
Yeah.
You just got caught.
Because it's like the reaction from is it Liam as well? He was like laughing. Says to me that like that's
it's a normal instance.
They say it often, and like it's just a joke to them. But you'll soon learn that you can't you can't joke about stuff like that.
Yeah,
you'll soon learn.
Well, I think when it comes into the sense of that has to be in his not normal vocabulary. I wouldn't say he would go around and fucking start saying things and bobs, but it's in his vocabulary enough to say it off the cuff. I swear I do do certain things. I explain, but fuck you. You know what I mean? Like if that's in my vocabulary and that's in his vocabulary, it's not just a sense of, or I might have acted this. You slipped up, bad dude, and it was recorded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Some people just instantly just gonna be like, no, sorry, mate. I'm not even gonna take it as like, oh, this is just a one-off incident. It's not a one-off incident.
Yeah, no.
I think he'll still have a career in there because it's not like they have to do the investigation legally, I suppose. But like, I think he'll still find a team if he's good enough to get a team. I think eventually, in a few years, it'll all disappear because it always does.
Well, Liam Lawson went through the exact same thing.
He'll be fine. Yeah. So anyone who's feeling sorry for him and in this current time, don't.
Yeah.
Because in a few years, it'll be fine. He'll be racing it like at a top team.
And it'll all be forgotten about.
Laughing all the way to the bank. So let him have his time of reflection, I guess, and criticism, because it may shape his mind to improve his vocabulary.
Yeah, obviously, no one ever wants to send anybody hate or anything like that. But like you said, criticism, where criticism's due, it's the sense of this. He probably needs a self-reflection and taking a step back and just being like, well, you need to think about what you say sometimes, buddy, because it may negatively impact not only yourself but a lot of people around you.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we're like touching on certain things at the minute, but there was also an instance where, I don't know about you guys, but there was a new Formula One presenter recently called Naomi Schiff, who, me personally, I think is a great addition to the team. She definitely has a lot to talk about, and the way she articulates herself is second to none. She's knowledgeable. She's very like I said, very very well articulated, and it adds like a different spin on the way that the commentating's done. Most of the guys, people that do commentate are above a certain age bracket, and Naomi just brings that little youthful spurt into the sense.
Especially with a lot of younger people getting into the sport through like Drive to Survive and stuff, and the representation. It's definitely important to have her.
Yeah.
So what she had to receive online was not fair.
Yeah.
At all, because she's just doing her job, as is everyone else who presents.
Baffles me when people do this. It really does. It's like I was just scrolling through, I think it was like Instagram the other day, and the same thing happened with Alex Scott in that, what's the charity football thing they do?
Soccer
Aid or UNICEF or whatever.
They criticised her because she wore a dress.
Yeah.
So first it was because she was a female presenting. Then that wasn't good enough. Then it was she's a token.
Yeah.
Then it was like something else, and now it's because she's a female and she wore a dress. Like this guy who said the post that like he did something stupid like, oh, like she's got no experience in F1, and it's like because of people like you.
Yeah. She's got more experience than whoever that's probably got. Like, let's be honest.
It's just like, give your head a wobble. Have you ever driven in any sort of race car? Because I doubt it, mate. Like,
no.
She handled it with grace, to be fair. Like, she and has received a lot of defense, and well, she doesn't need to be defended because she's clearly a strong ass woman who doesn't give a damn if people tell her no or not. She's made it a way to the top or whatever, and has herself a massive platform now because of what she's done, no one else. So it's just when someone has to do that.
Yeah, totally agree. And for any of you guys listening or anything like that, it's essentially, I know sometimes, for example, I made a comment on Paul Resta, or there's certain other things. When we're talking about these people, we're not attacking them. We're not fucking saying that they're bad people or they're fucking this, that, and the other. They're individuals. They're humans. We like to criticize. That's what we do. That's what the podcast is about. We criticize drivers. We criticize commentators. We criticize everything Formula One or anything. We make jokes about it. It's the sense of that. But when you're actively going out and creating hate speech about people, that's not okay. Like Ono said, give your head a little wobble, and next time think about what you say. But that's what it is. But anyway, we'll touch on. We'll end on a high note. We have the Silverstone Grand Prix next. Come on!
No.
I'm so hyped.
So, for you guys listening and for our video watchers as well, Mel, our lovely Mel, is going to be going to Silverstone and working there over.
We're not working.
Well, are you just watching?
Well, I work for you lot, but
Working.
4 whole days.
Yeah, so there's going to be a bunch of content coming out from Mel's side of things. And Mel, we'll end it here actually with your prediction. Come on, buddy. Give us your prediction for the Silverstone Grand Prix.
Okay. I don't know. Max first.
Oh, no.
Obviously, you're going to say that. Max first. I want to go with Charles second.
Ooh.
And George third, I think.
Ooh.
I think, yeah.
Ooh.
And if Norris could finish in the top 10, that'd be lovely. Same with Daniel. Same with me.
Please.
Do top 5. So
Harry, I've not got time for top 5.
Yeah.
No, Harry.
Like literally.
Ono next.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Dream Team. I'm gonna go Hamilton first, Russell second, and Norris third. All British.
Yeah.
I'll go George first, Hamilton second, and then Perez third. And that's everything.
Solid.
Well.
Now run.
I'm gonna have to now.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time after the Silverstone Grand Prix. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Follow our socials.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
over the socials.
Yeah.
Send Mel some of your questions. Go get her to do shit when she's at the Silverstone Grand Prix.
Yeah, Instagram.
Go just send a whole bunch of shit Mel's way and get you to do a little tour around the circuit and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway,
I think we're doing a track walk, so
right.
I might be So
do the whole
on Thursday.
Followers.
Yeah.
You'll get it all.
Myself, I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. You guys can say goodbye to the viewers as well.
Take care.
Bye guys.
See you later.
Especially Mick getting.
Yeah, we need to see that. We need to see it.
Oh wow, that was my whole shelf. That's just read. The whole see it slanted.
Yeah.
Just went, well, what do I turn it?
I was gonna say we needed a little bit of excitement having to talk about such a dreary race for us for an hour, so we need some excitement, you know.